When it comes to the energy of October, the main thing that you need to understand is that this is a month of personal power, and personal power requires use. So we've just come off of the whole eclipse season where, again, we've allowed the universe, or hopefully we've allowed the universe to take the wheel and direct things in our lives. But now in October, the power is back in our hands. So the question becomes, what are you gonna do with it, right? Power can be a very sexy, a very alluring, a very enjoyable thing. However, if you don't know how to use it properly, it can wreak havoc in your life. And so the purpose of this video is to help you not only understand your power, but how best to use it this month, all right? So without further ado, let's jump right in. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this video is all about how to use the energy of October. And in this little mini series, I think that this is perhaps the most important video because, like I said, power is a very powerful thing, right? And understanding how to use it to your advantage is everything. Okay, so Libra, Scorpio, that is sort of the main focus, or the main focus of October, right? So we've got partnerships and we've got power and transformation. So let's take it, I want to take it chronologically based on the astrology for the month, but I think I'll just talk about it generally. So let's talk about Libra and partnerships and equity, right? So we've got the sun in Libra, Venus in Libra, plus a new moon in Libra. So I want you to understand that Libra is a cardinal sign. And in astrology, that's just a fancy way of saying that Libra is a sign that starts things. And with Venus, the ruler of Libra, in its home sign, the sun in Libra, and a new moon in Libra, the best way to use the energy is to start a new relationship or mend an existing one so that it has a fresh start. The one thing I've always noticed about Libra, particularly people that have prominent Libra energy, they're not afraid to strike up a conversation. They're not afraid to talk to people. Every Libra I know, they'll randomly be someplace and just start talking to somebody. Now, me, a Virgo, I don't always like that because I like my solitude. And sometimes when people just randomly start talking to you, I get on the defensive. But reach out and touch someone. Like, that's the best way to use this Libra energy, whether it's mending a relationship or starting a new one. Be social. Libra reminds us that teamwork makes the dream work and that no man is an island. And with Venus being in Libra, it's like whatever relationships are started or refreshed under this energy will likely be a little more equitable, or at least there'll be a focus on equity in those relationships. But also, there's going to be a touch of beauty here. There's going to be perhaps a softness, an allure, a charisma that may not be present perhaps at other times of the year. Okay. Now, this doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. This could be friendships, family dynamics, any sort of relationship. And again, you want to pay attention to wherever Libra is in your natal chart. This will let you know exactly what type of relationship is sort of focused or will be the focus this month. But start a new relationship, reach out and touch someone, connect with people, socialize, and find the beauty of your current relationships, especially if you've been with the same people for a long time, or even like in family dynamics. You know, after a while, people can sort of take people for granted. There's this monotony in relationships. This October, particularly with Venus, the sun, and the new moon in Libra, it's a refresh for our relationships to get them balanced, to get them on the right foot, and to re-inject some beauty into them. So that's a really beautiful thing to experience this month, and the best way to use that plethora of Libra energy. Now let's talk about power, particularly with that full moon in Aries happening at the top of the month. Reclaim your power. That full moon is going to show you either your power or your powerlessness, okay? And when you know where you stand, now you can take action. And that's very much the realm of Aries energy. So figure out if you're giving away too much, or if you're allowing other people to call the shots, or maybe you're being a little too bossy, a little too headstrong, a little too inflexible, right? Restoring balance is also going to be a thing with Aries, but it's going to show you where your power lies. So then use it. Pay attention to wherever Aries is in your natal chart. This is going to be illuminated at that full moon. And again, it's going to show you your plethora of power or your powerlessness. And then you can act accordingly. Keyword is act, because Aries is a sign of action and initiation. So it could be time to start something new, or maybe turn the tide when it comes to an existing situation. But either way, that Aries full moon packed with power. Okay. Then we've got Mercury in Scorpio, and this really speaks to transformation. It could be transforming how you think, how you communicate, how you express yourself. Now, the best use of the energy when it comes to Mercury and Scorpio is having that deep and perhaps uncomfortable conversation. That conversation that's really geared toward the truth. Now, if you watched my first video in this series about the themes for October, I gave the example of perhaps you're in a romantic relationship where your partner is cheating, lying, manipulating, etc. Mercury in Scorpio is going to give you that gumption to confront that, to transform that. But you're going to have to be comfortable being uncomfortable with the truth. But Mercury in Scorpio is going to give you that power to have those conversations that may or may not be comfortable, but will definitely allow you to change things. And that's the most important thing. Then we've got Pluto going direct in Aquarius, and we've got the sun going into Scorpio, which is going to further this element of transformation. Now, Pluto direct in Aquarius, it kind of has the same flavor of Mercury and Scorpio, but just at a higher level, okay? This is change geared toward the future. Doing things, saying things, thinking of things now that could directly impact how your future unfolds. So maybe doing things in a different way right now. And then energy of Pluto direct in Aquarius is going to be really potent. So you'll have that energy and that power of transformation at your fingertips. So when making changes, when adjusting your mindset, when expressing yourself, you're going to want to have an eye toward the future. Is what you're doing now going to negatively or positively impact your life in the future? That's the question that you're going to want to keep top of mind. And then with the sun in Scorpio, wherever Scorpio is in your natal chart is what's going to be activated and heated up. This is the area of life where transformation is going to literally be taking place, and where you have the power to change things in a permanent and profound kind of way. And remember, everything about October is really about power, but it's about how you use it. And it's not just about sitting on the sidelines, it's about taking action and being proactive in your own transformation. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's see what else we have here. And then we've got Neptune going back into its home sign of Pisces. And like I mentioned in the other two videos in this series, it's a spiritual reset. So that may be happening behind the scenes. It may be a small part of how you use your energy this month, but tap in and really fine tune your spiritual practices, your spirituality, your beliefs even, okay? And then finally, with Mercury moving into Sagittarius at the end of the month, keep your eye on the prize and right in front of you. This is about seeing the bigger picture, the bigger trajectory. It allows you to dream and to imagine and to open your mind. Take off the barriers with respect to how you're thinking. Take off the blinders and see the bigger picture of life. I feel like with Mercury going into Sagittarius at the end of the month, vision work is going to be the best thing. Visualization, scripting, anything that can get you to think in a broader way is really going to serve you. And that's how we're going to move into November. All right. So I think you have your marching orders. Hopefully all of that made sense. But remember, above anything else, if this all went over your head and you have no idea what I'm talking about, listen to this part right now. The power is in your hands. How are you going to use it? What are you going to change? What are you going to initiate? Especially now that we've come off the energy of the eclipses, we are back in the driver's seat. So the question becomes, where is it that you want to go? And who do you want to bring with you? Those are two very important questions that I think that October is going to ask of you. All right, my loves, so that concludes this video on how to use the energy of October. All right, I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into October and beyond. All right, so this was the last video in the series. So between the 3 videos, you should be pretty well prepared for what October has in store. All right, and so if you've got any questions, comments, leave them down below. I will be sure to answer them. And I wish you nothing but the absolute best for October. It's gonna be a little intense, but remember, the power is in your hands. How are you gonna use it? All right, my loves, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.